Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Quintel Kickoff Show in our Centier Bank Studios. It's regionals tonight. I'm Jack. We got Mike DeWan besides me. Zach Snelly producing today's show. 2 game night built by Von Tobels we'll talk about, and a lot of great matchups as we get closer to Lucas Oil Stadium. It's hard to believe that we're already at this stage in the season. It's November. The leaves are changing colors. We're getting closer to Thanksgiving, and obviously state championship matchups are coming up. And kind of we're getting an idea who we might see at Lucas Oil Stadium in a couple of weeks. But for right now, it is regionals. This is kind of where you really see best of the best. Sectional, sometimes you have some teams that maybe didn't have the best particular season. You know, this is now where you get to the best of the best. You have, a lot of teams who had 9 or 10 wins in the regular season, or right now, including their playoff wins, are in double-digit wins. It's really some great football on hand.
That's it. And these are 3 of the 4 teams that were in our top 4, I think, throughout the course of the year. Our Region Football Weekly episodes in the regular season were mainly discussing our top 10, and the Crown Point, Merrillville, and Valpo, those guys were always at the top of the top. It could have been the top 4. We don't want to talk about Hanover too much. They were a good fourth quarter away from making this 4 for 4, but nonetheless, this is the best of the best here. We're getting down to it, the nitty gritty, and man, it's what it's all about.
Well, we have 2 game night built by Von Tobels. Crown Point at Penn. That's going to be starting very soon. 6:30 kickoff. It's going to be live in a couple of minutes. That will be live 6:10 from Penn High School, and then 7 o'clock kickoff for Valpo at Merrillville will be live on site at about 6:30. Of course, if you can't watch those games, you can view all of our scores on our hometown scoreboard, courtesy of our friends from Strack and Van Til. And here's all the games that we'll be covering on our hometown scoreboard, courtesy of Strack and Van Til. It's going to be Crown Point and Penn, and they'll play the winner of this game: Hamilton Southeastern and Westfield, Valpo versus Merrillville, Mishawaka Fort Wayne Snyder, Knox versus West Lafayette, LaVille versus Lafayette Central, New Prairie versus Northwood, Park Tudor and versus North Judson. Those are all the games you'll be able to view on our hometown scoreboard, courtesy of our friends from Strack and Van Til. Now, I talked about those game nights built by Von Tobel. We've been posting a link periodically throughout the day, so just click that link for whichever game you want to watch. It'll take you right to the ihsatv.org website, and you'll just click the play button. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. But remember, ihsatv.org is what the games will be on tonight, and we'll be posting the link periodically. We've been posting the link periodically throughout the day. But 2 great games on hand. Mike, when you kind of get to the stretch of football, obviously things get a little more intense. Plays mean a little bit more than they maybe would have last week, just because more and more is on the line the more we get closer and closer to that Thanksgiving weekend.
Right.
How do you control the nerves and, turn it into excitement, as a football player?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to come with experience, and it starts with the seniors. Again, those are your leaders you turn to if you're an underclassman or if you're just anybody on the team who's – you just need somebody to look up to. And, those guys that have been playing for a couple seasons, they kind of probably know what it takes, especially with these teams that are still in at Crown Point. Although they may not have had the playoff success, those are guys that played big-time football, and they know what it takes to win football games. For Valpo, of course, you have guys with experience everywhere. In Merrillville, just about the same. So you have to turn to those guys to kind of rely on and kind of calm you down when the nerves get up, because they've been in that position probably before, and they know how to respond to that. But yeah, that's why the teams are here. These are experienced programs that are again, very talented across the board, and the coaches are phenomenal in all 3 programs. And again, man, they're as deserving as the next guy, I'll say. And, we're rooting for them over here for sure.
We're going to take a break here in the Quintel Kickoff Show. And when we come back, we'll talk about our first game night built by Von Tobel, Crown Point at Penn. As you're watching us on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Update your kitchen or bathroom with Von Tobel. Get 20% off select cabinets now through October 28th. Von Tobel has cabinets and vanities in a range of styles and colors. Plus, built-in storage, countertops, and flooring. Our designers will help you find the perfect selections for your style and budget. Scan to visit VonTobels.com today to book your free consultation at one of our 4 Indiana showrooms. Von Tobel. Building better together.
Quintel Incorporated is a family-owned and operated company located in Northwest Indiana that specializes in the reconditioning, repair, and remanufacturing of heat exchangers. Since 1994, Quintel has been handling jobs of all sizes throughout the country. Equipped with the most modern technology and advanced tools, Quintel provides top-notch service. When you trust Quintel for all your needs, you'll get peace of mind and a finished job that exceeds your expectations. For more info about Quintel and the services they provide, visit quintel-inc.com.
When life takes you places and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strack and Van Til To Go. Our to-go service is easy to use, and it can save you time and money. Once your order is in, our own Strack and Van Til team preps your order with care. For delivery or pickup, enjoy the convenience of letting our to-go team shop for you. Enjoy your special moments. Sign up online today at shop.strackandvantil.com.
Hi, I'm Crowell Company's Lantern Man. I'll cover your motorcycle. I'll be with you on the water. I'll be with you on the snow. I'll cover your insurance needs wherever you go. I'll be at Crowell Agency from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. As Crowell Company's Lantern Man, I'm your insurance superhero.
Crowell Companies, the insurance professionals in Highland, Merrillville, and Michigan City.
From schools to stadiums, hospitals, and bridges, everywhere you look, union carpenters are building Indiana. With jobs and skilled trades in high demand, there's never been a better time to start building your future. As an apprentice, you'll earn a debt-free college degree, earn while you learn, and receive great benefits like healthcare and retirement. So what are you waiting for? Visit carpenters.com to learn more. Visit carpenters.com and start building your future today.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Back here on the Quintel Kickoff Show as we get you set for some regional action. Time to talk about our first game night built by Von Tobel. We'll be live at Penn High School at about 6 o'clock, 6:10. Kickoff is slated for 6:30 p.m. Central Time. You can view that link on our Facebook page. It'll take you right to the IHSATV.org website. It's Crown Point at Penn. Crown Point still undefeated this year. They have 2 straight undefeated regular seasons. For the Penn Kingsmen, well, they've played a region team once already this year. It was the Valpo Vikings at the start of the year at Valpo, where Penn really dominated them and started off their season in a hot way. Their only loss is to Cathedral. Other than that, they've really taken care of business, especially when it comes to their defense. 7 shutout wins on the year. Total 6 of the last 8 games have been shutout wins for Penn, and that's really a heavy dose of what you're going to see in the game in a little bit. It's going to be 2 defenses who have had really school record years. For Crown Point, only 6.6 points per game their defense has given up. That's a school record. We're not 100% sure about Penn's, but they only give up 7.8 points per game. But on the other side, the Crown Point Bulldogs offense is lethal. It's a 3-headed monster with Noah Ehrlich, Landon Delich, and Larry Ellison. But you can't forget about Nick Soley. He's one of those guys who's really stepped up, and plenty of other guys, and that defense as well. Nate Falk, you have the Clark brothers, and that's where this game is going to really hang in the balance, because both teams have players on offense that can, really make those plays when you need to. But both defenses have shown us that they have the capabilities to shut down opponents. And for the Penn Kingsmen, we talked about, this is a very veteran leadership team. Everyone is a senior on their starting defense besides their safety, Vinny Freeman, who we talked about, Marcus Freeman, head coach of Notre Dame's son. He's a sophomore. But other than that, everybody else on the Kingsmen defense is a senior. And Crown Point, credit to them, they do have a lot of seniors as well. Yeah. And a lot of their best players are seniors. So you do have 2 teams with a lot of seniors who have been in these types of moments. These teams have only faced 3 times in their history. Penn has won all 3 of them, and they have outscored them 73-6, including the last time these 2 teams played was in that regional championship. You go all the way back to 2017, and the Penn Kingsmen, well, they got the best of the Bulldogs.
It's 6 years to the day. That's what it is. November 10th.
Good math.
So it's
math.
just check out the date. But yeah,
good calendar math.
It's going to be that's an interesting little nugget there.
Nevertheless, for Penn, now a lot of people may not know about Penn. This is obviously a team all the way near South Bend, as they're located in Mishawaka, Indiana. Mm-hmm. But we talked about Defense is their game. Now, their offense is loaded. You have Noah McCall, the senior quarterback. He's been a bright spot for them. Dual threat, Jake Bayless, the running back, has been huge for them. Elijah Cooker. You have Kellen Watson. Those are the guys you're going to really hear us talk about on the offensive side of things. Now, in the defense, this is where they really get impressive. And the first guy is Vince Horner. This guy has probably been the MVP so far for the Kingsmen. 8 pass deflections, 6 interceptions, 3 touchdowns defensively. He also has 3 punt returns for a touchdown. He has been electric for Penn. That is somebody you're going to definitely want to keep your eye out for. Another guy, Maverick Brown, 2 picks, 3 defensive touchdowns of his own. And you know what they say, you got the need for speed. Maverick Brown is the right name to have.
There you go, a little Top Gun.
4 PDs as well. This is obviously, we can keep going down the list. They have a lot of QB pressures. Evan Witten, 9 of them. You have Brandon Lynch with 8 of them, including 8.5 sacks.
Yeah.
So you go through this defense, and also they have 4 block kicks. I mean, you go on every defensive statistic you can think about. The Penn Kingsmen fill it out because they are so well-rounded. And this is what's going to make this such a great game, because you have 2 teams who are so well-rounded, not just offensively, but defensively. 2 great coaches in Craig Vazia and Corey Neoman. And you have 2 quarterbacks who can really make some plays, not just with their arms, but with their legs. And this has just got the potential to be one of the best games of the year. Obviously, a little hard to top the one, maybe a Hanover Central.
I don't know, man. It's going to be a good
West
one.
Lafayette, but you have the Penn Kingsmen, who is really the region kryptonite, not just in football, but in every sport that region teams play in. If their season ends, it's always dependency. If it's not to a region team,
man.
It's always to the Penn Kingsmen. And like we said, last time they faced 2017 regional championship, Penn got the best of them. Crown Point hasn't won a regional championship since the 80s.
Yeah.
History wasn't on their side with sectionals, but they were able to reverse their fortune, get their sectional title. Can they do the same here in regionals? All the way at Penn for about an hour-and-a-half bus ride. It's going to really test their limits. Haven't played a road game in over a month, and really haven't played a tough road game all year.
I think the games that they played on the road, they kind of made them tough. I mean, no disrespect to Chesterton and LC, but those are 2 teams that they struggled with pretty mightily on the road. That, I mean, kind of looking at the way Chesterton and LC season kind of went, those are teams that we believe Crown Point should have been able to handle from the jump for 4 quarters. And this, not being on the road, it's something that could easily be taken for granted. Playing at your home spot, there's nothing like it. You know, it's an easy drive, easy kind of get out of class and kind of have some recovery time before your game instead of hopping on a bus and traveling an hour and a half. So that is something we really got to look out for. And it's, again, for that potent Crown Point offense, which I think kind of is better than Penn's offense. They have to put some points up on the board, or at least try to, against this Penn defense that is, I think, the best defensive unit they're going to play this year by far. No disrespect to anybody else, but, I mean, you mentioned all the Penn playmakers. They got the guys that kind of, again, swing. It's those big plays that kind of swing the game. It's all momentum, especially in playoff football, and especially being at a hostile environment. You have to have guys that could make plays and get the crowd behind you one way or another. And again, Penn, I mean, Vince Horner, again, he not only does things on the defensive side, but that other third of the game and special teams, he could flip the field on a big punt return or put some points up on the board, even if he takes it to the house. So, again, it's a slobber knocker, as we say, man. It's going to be such a fun one, and again, we're always happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch the turnover battle, because Penn going into this game is plus 16 on turnovers.
That's very impressive.
They forced 21 turnovers on the year. They've only given up the ball 5 times. They're also only allowing 2.7 yards per carry, which is some of the best. Like you said, this is definitely and easily the best defense Crown Point has faced all year.
I think so.
I will be interested to see how the penalty yards look, because Penn penalties have hurt them over the year. They have 526 yards on penalties. Their opponents only 391. And if you go back to last week, sorry bringing it up, Hanover Central, but that second half, penalties after penalty after penalty, and it was pass interference, it was illegal contact, it was holding, and that allowed a team like West Lafayette to get back in the game. For Penn, that's kind of shooting yourself in the foot, saying if they're going to beat themselves in this game, it seems like it might be those costly penalties that on the stat sheet has totaled up.
Like, you have to keep your head on straight. Again, I keep kind of repeating myself, I think, for the past 4 weeks, every time we talk about playoffs, but you just cannot beat yourself. And being a couple, what are they, 12 games into the season, you're kind of at this point where, okay, this is what it takes. this is what I can and can't do, and I can't put my team in a bad position and give Crown Point or Penn or the opposition, in a way, a bigger chance to make a play in this game and ultimately lose us on some hardware and send us home packing. It's really, again, I think the big thing is what team could, of course, make the plays, make the big momentum plays, but who wins the turnover battle, who wins the penalty battle, who plays just their best brand of football, and it's going to be an interesting one. I think for Penn, a little bit, you talk about the road kind of always leads to Penn for every playoffs, and this is a team that they're always seem to be in the mix. They kind of have this playoff experience, and they usually find themselves in the regionals or making a decent playoff run. So they're kind of, I wouldn't say battle tested, but the coaches know what it takes to kind of play good football in these high stakes tournament rounds. And Crown Point, again, they haven't won a regional since the 80s. Why can't it be now? We'll see, but it's, again, there's so much to go into this game, and we're just dying to see it all. So
combined records of these teams, it just doesn't get any better. It is 21-1.
Almost does.
Obviously, but if they were both undefeated, nevertheless, Penn against a region team, it's an old folk tale that we always talk about.
Dude. Every sport, man. It's like you see Penn on your schedule. It's like, oh my God, or in the regionals, I don't know, man. I'm pulling for Crown Point. Again, us region guys. It's, you kind of want to see a region team, kind of break that narrative a little bit. But again, Penn, it's going to be a fantastic game, and again, let's do it, man.
Well, the winner of this one would play the winner of Hamilton Southeastern and Westfield. Now, for you Bulldog fans, you have a chance to be home for semi-state. If Crown Point wins, you need Westfield to win, and the semi-state is at the Dog Pound. So that is Crown Point's only way of being home for semi-state is if they win, obviously, and Westfield beats Hamilton Southeastern. If they don't do that, well, they might have a 3-hour bus ride.
It's going to be a little bit of bus ride.
So that's your scenarios of where the games could take place next week, in case you were wondering. We're going to take a break here in the Quintel Kickoff Show on our Centier Bank Studios. When we come back, we'll talk about our second game night built by Von Tobel, Valpo at Merrillville. As you're watching us on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Have you checked out Centier Bank's student checking account? This no-fee checking account is perfect for students and teens ages 14 to 24 and comes with all the features you need to succeed, such as a debit card, digital banking, and automatic deposit. Centier Bank can help you start establishing good spending habits today for your better tomorrow. For more information, visit Centier.com/student-checking or visit your local branch. If you are under the age of 18, your parent or guardian must also sign on the Centier student checking account. At the age of 25, your account will automatically convert to the Centier checking account. You must deposit $25 to open this account. This account is not eligible for overdraft advantage. Member FDIC.
With electrical services from Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, you can radiate the perfect amount of light and energy into your home. From rewiring and code upgrades to ceiling fans, lighting, security, and more, Economy Electric Heating and Cooling's trained electricians will make sure you can enjoy your home on full power all the time. For a free estimate on electrical work, call Economy Electric Heating and Cooling at 219-923-4441, and you can visit them on the web at 4ajobdoneright.com. That's the number 4ajobdoneright.com.
Develop skills that will last for a lifetime with an apprenticeship with the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers Local 4, Indiana, Kentucky. The apprenticeship and training program is committed to developing highly skilled bricklayers, terrazzo workers, and ceramic tile setters to provide the construction industry with the best hands in the business. If you are currently working non-union and want better pay with benefits, or if you think learning a new skill with a paid apprenticeship while you earn your associate's degree is the right path for you, visit baclocal4.org/training to learn more about the the apprenticeship program. Are you built to succeed?
For over 100 years, Burns Funeral Home and Crematory has been assisting families in their time of need. Serving Northwest Indiana, the staff at Burns Funeral Home will help guide your family in creating a meaningful ceremony. From a simple to elaborate, to traditional or unique, the caring family at Burns Funeral Home will tailor a ceremony to fit your needs. And for your other loved ones, Burns Funeral now has a pet cemetery and crematory. Visit burnsfuneral.com or give them a call at 219-942-1117.
Getting you set for regionals on the Quintel Kickoff Show on our Centier Bank Studios. If you're just joining us, we talked about our first game night built by Von Tobel, which is Crown Point at Penn. It's going to be starting very soon at Penn High School. We'll be live on site about 6 o'clock. Kickoff 6:30 p.m. We'll talk about our second game night built by Von Tobel, which is a kickoff at 7. We'll be live at about 6:30. Remember, go through our Facebook page. I know I keep saying this, but if you're looking for that link, just keep going through our Facebook page today. We've been posting it periodically. Click the link. It'll take you to which game you want to watch. But a DAC rematch we have on hand for you, the Valpo Vikings at the Merrillville Pirates. This is a really good football game just because we talked about it on Region Football Weekly last night. The familiarity between these two teams, obviously they play every year. They've played twice a couple of years. You go back to last year when Merrillville, they won the regular season meeting. But Valpo, they won the regional meeting and ended Merrillville's regional streak. Now for Valpo, they're trying to run the table once again. They were state champions last year, trying to repeat. But the Pirates stand in their way, and it's going to be tough. Merrillville, 30-2 in their last 32 home games. They're 6-0 at home this year. Merrillville did lose the first matchup at Valpo, 26-24. That was without Travis Davis, so they already seen how the Vikings look without Davis. Some teams haven't been able to see how Valpo looked without him, but the Vikings now get their second chance at Valpo without their star running back. Thomas Bird has been the starter for them, but for Merrillville, offense, who cares? They care about the defense.
That's it.
That's really been what has made this team click ever since that Crown Point loss earlier in the year. Now, let's keep it open. Merrillville's offense is electric. It's one of the best in the area, but they have, behind Crown Point, I would say the second best defense. The defense is loaded, and give them credit because their first two sectional matchups were against high-scoring offenses. You go to Crown Point, Daniel Ascadon, one of the best running backs in the area.
Or Munster, you said?
Yeah, for Munster. Held him to his lowest output. And then you go to last week against Morton, probably their lowest output as a team. That offense, they're known for scoring almost 40 points a game. So for them to, be able to dominate those games, they had to go at Morton last week.
Yeah.
And now they get their home game. They love playing at home. We talked about how they need to build the pirate ship. Blast some cannons or something on I-65.
But get the fleet on I-65, man. Get them going.
Nevertheless, this is a loaded team. You have Trey Stevens. You have Jalen Ramsey, Dante Pope, J.Q. Johnson, John Peters. I mean, the list goes down. And what's really even more impressive is the two-headed backfield. We talked about J.Q. Johnson, Trey Stevens, is another guy. Those two are electric together.
Yeah.
And it just gets more and more impressive when you look through this defense. Terrell Elmore is another guy.
Roshan McGee, too, all-conference guy. I mean, they got a couple guys, man. They're dogs out there.
You go to Valpo, and them and Merrillville have kind of the same type of football, like how they play, it seems like.
A little bit, yeah.
It's ground and pound. They're not going to win football games by throwing 300 yards a game.
Right.
They're going to win in the trenches, use their big O-linemen, but in their defense is able to make those key stops. And that's what's been like for Valpo. You go back to 2 weeks ago. They're on 14-3 at halftime against Chesterton. Defense shuts them out. The offense able to capitalize and win that game. Last week, Michigan City, we talked about how their offenses can be high electric with Tyler Bush coming back. Held them to 6 points. So this is a Valpo defense that is also very superb against region teams. Their only trouble was Merrillville. I believe that's the highest scoring output a team's had on the Valpo defense. That's from the region. Is Merrillville's 26-24.
Yeah.
Crown Point only scored 19 against them in that matchup at the Dog Pound. So this is as even as a matchup can get, just because these teams know each other like a book. These coaches probably have a great relationship because they face each other so many times. It's not really a rivalry, but it kind of is a rivalry just because they play each other so much. But I think there's also just so much respect on both sides from both teams. And this is just another great game. You talk about Crown Point and Penn, how good that one's going to be. This is just has the makings of another one.
Yeah, I don't know which one's better. God, it's tough, man.
It is, and I think it's going to be curious about who makes that stop, who makes that game-winning stop. I believe this is going to be a low-scoring game, just because, like we said, Valpo's defense is just as good as Merrillville's. They've had just as much of success as Merrillville's. I think for Valpo, it's all power and strength, and for Merrillville, it's all speed and quickness in a way.
A little bit. That's usually how it goes. Again, very similar teams, as you're saying. Valpo's got some guys in the defense, too. Tyveen, Sammy Ampiliotis, Tyler Verschure had a great game last year. He was an All-State guy last year on the junior team. And yeah, man, it doesn't get much better than this. Again, two region powerhouses going at it once again. I kind of want to say this is a rivalry a little bit. Again, these are guys that are, it's kind of an inevitable fate with these two kind of being, in sectionals that they've pretty much dominated.
Yeah.
All obviously they're both on I think Merrillville's on 5 straight sectional titles and Valpo's on 6, and now they're meeting in the regionals all the time. It's again this seems to be kind of a recurring theme with how fantastically consistent these programs have been, and again it's going to be a beauty, man. I think for Valpo, one thing that benefits them is I want to say who they played in the sectional. Now, no disrespect to Merrillville's opponents, but being from Munster, an NCC guy, looking at the deck, it's different football.
Good point.
It's different football.
Valpo has played Chesterton and Michigan.
Valpo's whole sectional was deck. It was City, LaPorte, and Chesterton, and Valpo played Chesterton and City. Merrillville, again, no disrespect to their opponents, but they played Munster and then Morton. I mean, they're no deck opponents, and I think Valpo. I did pick Merrillville yesterday, and I think I'm going to still ride with that pick just because they're at home and they're a different team. But Valpo's, I think they're a little more – they're ready for this in terms of what to expect in terms of competition. Merrillville, again, it may be a smack in the face in that first quarter, but, again, I think they could ride that momentum with that home crowd. Again, they're a different team, but nonetheless, I mean, it's – again, I'm expecting low scoring. I want to say a very similar game to what we saw September 29th. I mean, it's who makes those plays. I think a guy to look out for Valpo – although they're probably not going to throw the ball that much. Julian Stokes had a huge kickoff return for a touchdown in that first meeting against the 2, and that kind of switched the whole game. That was right before halftime, I believe. And, I mean, those plays, they get the momentum on your side and get you going. And whether he makes a play in the kickoff, punt return, or maybe even a big shot downfield like he had last week, he's a guy to look out for. In Merrillville, of course, you got a bunch of guys everywhere. Trey Stevens, we got to see what his status is. I know he had a little flu game last week.
He'll be okay, I feel like.
I think he'll be okay.
I don't think he's missing this one.
Get him some cough meds, and you should be good. Don't have to deal with a bus ride.
Get him some Thermaflu.
Yeah, something.
A little hot tea in there,
It is going to be a little chilly. I know that. So
some hot tea, some soup,
just IV him up. Do whatever you can, man. Get him going because he got to make a couple plays tonight. I know. Again, that last meeting against Valpo, only 5 yards on the ground. I don't think that could happen if they want to walk away with the regional title. So again, expect those playmakers, the big plays. I mean, it's really what it is. So many seniors, again, a lot of senior leaders we keep on talking about. Those are the guys you lean on in these cold months and those games you need to win. So
you brought a great point about the opponents. Even though they are in the same conference, they have different sectionals in terms of Merrillville, Munster, and Morton. And you talked about how it's a different beast going from
completely.
The SEC and the DAC. I mean, look at, don't mean to bring this up, but a team like Lake Central blows out Munster, and then a team like Merrillville blows out Lake Central.
Yeah,
it's how that works. And how does that really prepare you for this moment when you go to Valpo, who, look, do they want to get tested by a Chesterton team? Absolutely not. But it still prepares you for this type of environment. They were on the road, down by 11 at halftime. That's probably the best preparation you could have for a game at Merrillville. A rowdy crowd. That place is going to be packed. Talked about it. 30-2. Our last 32.
Very similar stadiums too. Huge bleachers.
Yeah.
It's like a collegiate stadium basically.
Although Merrillville has looked like the better team in the past 2 weeks, Valpo looks maybe the more prepared. You can make the argument.
No, I think I'm kind of with it. Again, if this game's at Valpo, I think it's a completely different game, and that's why I'm taking Merrillville because, again, they're just a different beast at home, and I think they'll be okay. Again, it's a different brand of football on the deck, and that sectional that definitely favors Merrillville as much as we do like talking about Morton and the other opponents in that sectional. Merrillville, it was theirs to lose, and it has been. Valpo, again, they usually are stuck in that sectional with DAC, and that's usually with DAC opponents, and it's usually their sectional to lose. But that's why, again, they're state champions last year, and they've had so much postseason success. And Yeah, man. Again, this is another game where you could tell me any score prediction, and I'll be like, okay, that could happen. I mean, it's seriously again so much talent. I mean, coaching staff, the players, the environment's going to be fantastic. It's what football's all about, man.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Absolutely. Almost set for our first game night built by Von Tobel. Crown Point at Penn now. I'll be starting in just a short bit. We're done here on the Quintel Kickoff. So reminder, check out our hometown scoreboard, courtesy of our friends from Strack and Van Til. You can view all those scores live and up to date. Those games are going to be Crown Point and Penn, Hamilton, Southeastern, and Westfield, Valpo versus Merrillville, Mishawaka versus Fort Wayne Snyder, Knox versus West Lafayette, LaVille versus Lafayette Central, New Prairie versus Northwood, and Park Tudor versus North Judson. Something I almost forgot to mention for you, Merrillville and Valpo fans, is what your fate could look like next week. Talked about how Crown Point has a 25% chance of being home. Well, Merrillville, if you guys win, you're home. Or no, Valpo, my bad. Valpo wins. If Valpo wins, they are home no matter what.
That's nice.
So the Vikings, no matter what, if they win, they will be home. Merrillville, they are going to, I believe, need Mishawaka to win. So if Mishawaka wins and they want to, or actually if Merrillville wins and they want a home semi-state game, they're going to need Mishawaka to pull one out. But for the Valpo Vikings, you win, you get semi-state at Viking Stadium. I almost butchered that. I butchered that a little bit.
Hey, man.
I hope I didn't get their hopes up too much.
They'll figure it out. Hey, both environments are awesome. Those are two places you want to play a semi-state game right there, man.
But there's a 75% chance that we'll have a semi-state game in the Class 5A.
Hey, you just got to take care of the person in front of you and let everything else figure itself out. Everything else is kind of gravy from there. Of course, you want to be at home, but you got to worry about what happens tonight, and that's what it's all about.
Valpo wins, they get semi-state at Viking
Field. Hey, yeah, take care of business, and there you go.
Wins,
nice little treat
next
week.
They'll need some help from Mishawaka if they don't want to have a long bus ride. Nevertheless, that's going to do it here for the Quintel Kickoff Show. Stay tuned to that hometown scoreboard, courtesy of our friends from Strack and Mantilda. I'll be live all night and tomorrow morning on our Facebook and YouTube page. Go watch some great football provided by Region Sports and, of course, Von Tobel. It's going to be on the IHSATV.org website. We've been posting the link throughout the day. Click the link to whichever game you want to watch and enjoy some great football. But for Mike and Zach, that's going to do it for us here on the Quintel Kickoff Show in our Centier Bank studios here on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Growing up in Northwest Indiana, I am proud that my family's been doing business here for nearly 100 years, which started with my grandfather, John Gladish. Over my career, I've witnessed families being torn apart by the negligence of others, and everything from unguarded openings at construction sites to reckless driving on our roads. Our experienced attorneys, paralegals, and staff know that insurance companies and their lawyers will go to great lengths to avoid paying compensation. Do not waste your one and only opportunity to seek fair compensation for your loss. Give the Gladish Law Group a call and put our team to work for you.
Blythe's Team Sports in Valparaiso is a leader in athletics apparel and equipment sales. With in-house production including screen printing, trophies, embroidery, and more, Blythe's can help you to create the perfect look. For more information, visit them online at teamblythes.com. Blythe's Team Sports in Valparaiso, where the athletes shop.
Centrally located in downtown Indianapolis, the Hampton Inn is just steps away from Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Situated at 105 South Meridian Street, shopping, restaurants, entertainment, and many Indianapolis attractions are in near proximity. Hampton Inn has much to offer, including a hot breakfast, high-speed internet access in every room, as well as a gym fitness center. For reservations, the number is 317-261-1200. The website is hamptonin3.hilton.com. Hampton Inn, Indianapolis, downtown.